and welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys. And once again here, ahead of the end of the season, we've got the game here against Celta, and it just has that feel, doesn't it, that again, we're not quite there. We haven't quite done enough this season to get ourselves back where we really want to be at the top. And that is why today we are talking about Laporta's reported revolution. The changes that will be made this summer, and indeed the players who could be leaving the club with some huge exits being rumoured. The change must start here, because this has been a long time coming. All of the info and the revolution explained in full. It is coming right up for you. So let's get to it. And today's video, guys, is coming to you courtesy of the OneFootball app that you can find there to download in the description down below. That is a great help indeed to me, and it is a great place there to stay well updated, especially throughout the summer with all of the transfer rumours as they happen. Very good place there to stay updated with everything that is going on. Like I say, you can download that down below. But I think in terms of this season, this is a season, of course, where once again, as a club, we are going to fall short. We've had disappointments, we've had problems right throughout the team, and of course we all do look to the coach. We all say, you know what, you are the one who's leading the team, you've got to take responsibility. Ronald Koeman, he knows that. It comes with the job. You have to take the full brunt of that criticism, but we also all accept, I feel, that, you know what, the players aren't innocent. They are as much to blame, if not even more, for the problems of this season, and indeed the disappointments. We have crumbled again when it matters, and that is why this revolution that Laporta apparently is planning, oh, it's needed. Because this right here was the main report coming out from Mundo Deportivo, and as you can see there, the big headline, revolution. They go on to say that this summer, Laporta is planning a big overhaul of the first team squad, and they actually go on to say that up to 14 players could be up for sale. They could all leave the club this summer, with a number of permanent deals hopefully in the pipeline. There's also the possibility of players leaving on loan, and they also go on to say, if necessary, there could be players who are released from their contracts if we don't get the offers that we need for them. And I just want to go on here and explain why that kind of quantity of exit, it may seem exaggerated, it may seem like a pretty big call to make, but for me, there are 3 reasons why it has to happen now. Because the number one reason why we are going to see a significant overhaul and several players going out of the door this summer is all about, of course, the financial situation that the club find ourselves in. Laporta here has inherited a club in significant amount of debts, very bad financial situation. That is all due to the mismanagement of many years thanks to Bartomeu, and particularly there in terms of the finances, the wage bill is something that has been out of control now for as long as I can remember. We have players at this club earning much more than they're actually contributing to this team. That needs to be addressed, and it has to happen now. Reason number 2 is, again, following on from that financial situation, but with a different kind of emphasis there, this time in terms of generating transfer funds. Because yes, of course, we want to sell players, we want to move players on, but also we want to strengthen this squad. We have to bring in players this summer, either on free transfers and then pay the wages, or indeed by paying transfer fees. And to do that, you need to generate income. You need to find somehow some transfer fees out there for the players that we're selling. We will need those to make our summer moves. But point here number 3, and I've got to make this very clear here, guys, and this is something that we are all very much aware of. This is not all down to the financial side. Let's just not make out here like we're selling players and we're going to be getting rid of lots of players simply because we have to financially. This is going to happen because we want to. This is going to happen because we need to. There are players in this team who have not been anywhere near the quality we require at Barcelona in terms of performances this season, but also they've been getting away with this now for season upon season. There is no room for sentiment in this game. There is no room for second, third, fourth, fifth chances for many of these players. We need changes, and we need them now. It's that simple. And of course, when you look in there at the quantity of player sales that we could indeed be seeing at the Camp Nou this summer, some of the players that we are talking about will be absolutely no surprise. The likes of Neto, he's been rumoured now to be leaving for the past 2 transfer windows. He's very unhappy with his playing time, and he's certainly going to be leaving the club this summer. You've got Junior Firpo, has not been given any sort of playing time over these past few months. He hasn't really challenged Jordi Alba. He hasn't really been given the opportunity, to be fair, to really do that, but I think his time is up now at Barcelona. Of course, somebody like Matheus Fernandes Hernandez, somebody who's not going to play here, who's not the quality to play here. I've no idea why he was even brought in, but he is certainly going to be leaving the club this summer. Then there's Martin Braithwaite, a player, of course, who was originally brought in as an emergency signing by Bartomeu. It was one of those panic signings, but you have to say, Braithwaite really has worked hard. He's given his absolute maximum. His attitude whilst he's been here at the club has been absolutely dependable, and the club have apparently transmitted that to him, that, you know what, they are happy, they do appreciate what he's done. But I think it is a case here of thank you for that effort, thank you for what you have brought, but now it is time to move on. We're going to be bringing in forwards this summer. We are going to be bringing in a number 9, and for that reason, Braithwaite staying, he'd be having less minutes than he already does. That wouldn't suit anyone. Braithwaite probably will be out the door, and even somebody like Miralem Pjanic, brought in, of course, last summer. It was one of those dodgy deals that Bartomeu did there with Juventus in terms of the swap deal, all to sort of mess around with the books. Pjanic has not played this season. Koeman has not had faith in him, and I think he will definitely leave the club this summer. But this summer, it's not just going to be about the names that maybe haven't played. Maybe you wouldn't really be too surprised if they were to leave the club, but there are going to be big names too. MD there say that Laporta, he's not scared to get rid of some of the big heavyweights that maybe will surprise a few people in the process. One of those who maybe wouldn't be so much a surprise would be Samuel Umtiti, who've been trying to offload him now for a number of seasons. Of course, he's had injury problems, but he's not really at the level anymore that we need from a Barcelona centre-back, and I think he will certainly leave the club this summer. Laporta has to make that happen. And then there's somebody like Felipe Coutinho, signed for a record transfer fee. Somebody there signed for a massive amount of money. He's on massive wages, but somebody who we cannot find a suitable club to sell him to. Because Barca have indeed been trying to offload Coutinho now for some time in a very similar way to Umtiti, but it's finding that buyer, and that's what Laporta this summer. He's got to be so good in the way that he finds a deal to sell these players. There's also the case, of course, of Sergio Roberto, now of course ruled out for the rest of the season, and he's also going to be ruled out for quite a significant amount of the summer with the injury that he picked up in the last game. His contract, of course, expires in 2022, and there's no real sign right now of a serious contract renewal being put on the table, because originally Roberto wanted a long deal. He wanted something there that secured his future for the next 3 years at Barcelona. I don't think Laporta is going to be offering that right now, especially after his recent displays. Could Roberto be one of those that leaves this summer? And then there's even the likes of Ousmane Dembele, the likes of Antoine Griezmann, players again who were signed for huge transfer fees. They're on very big wages. Yes, this season they started to show a lot closer to their best level, but is that going to be enough? Dembele is one of those whose contract is set to expire in 2022. Again, there's been no decision on a renewal, whether he'll sign that, whether he'll be offered it. Apparently he wants increased wages. Again, that's not something that I would be sanctioning at Barcelona, so that is certainly unclear when it comes to Dembele. And even Griezmann. Last night from Sky Sports it came out that if Barca receive a significant offer this summer, if they were offered there a big amount of money for Antoine Griezmann, it would be possible that even he could leave the club. But I think what's also very important, guys, is not only, who's going to leave, but also who is going to come in. Because obviously we want to see this very serious overhaul of the first team squad. We need to see that. But at the same time, you are going to need to replace the majority of these players. You've got to keep your squad very strong. The amount of games that we play, we need really good depth. And the question is, with limited transfer funds, how do you go about replacing this amount of players and replacing them well? When it comes to Laporta, he's got the answer to that already, and he has already started work on betting on La Masia. That is certainly going to be something very different in this board of directors as it was to the last regime that Barcelona were under, because Laporta is going to put a lot more faith in La Masia. Already, you can see here, he's been doing some contract renewals. And by the way, these renewals have come before any of the others that we just spoke about. The likes of Alex Collado there, renewing him until 2023. You've got Oscar Mingueza, exactly the same for him. And more recently, the talented midfielder Nico Gonzalez renewed there at Barcelona B. But these will all have views to the first team. There will always be there that progression under Laporta, because that will be his first port of call. If the squad needs something, if we're looking around and thinking, okay, the first team could need this, they need a bit of that, they need this position, the first thing that Laporta will do, he'll think, okay, do we have it within the club? We will be looking from within, and for the first time in a long time, La Masia, it will not be a last resort. And finally, guys, when we are speaking there of our younger talents, about players progressing from the youth teams into the first team, I do want to end here by talking about the future of Riqui Puig. Because there has been plenty of speculation right throughout the week in terms of his future, and especially given the fact that Ronald Koeman's future appears to be uncertain, what's going to happen next season with Riqui Puig? Well, indeed, a few days ago, we all spoke here about the fact that Laporta could not believe that Puig had not played more this season. Laporta can't really understand, apparently, why Koeman hasn't put more faith in him, and as a result of that, MD here claim that Riqui Puig will 100% be a Barcelona player next season. He has the full backing of the board, who believe in his potential. They want him to stay here, and he has a future in this team. And I truly believe that under Laporta, when we have this talent, when we have players there with potential, he will always give them that opportunity to bring it right through to the first team. So indeed, guys, please do let me know your thoughts on this reported revolution from Joan Laporta. I think we've all been waiting for this kind of summer to happen. Every single year now, we make the same mistakes, we see the same flaws in this Barcelona team, and the time has come now to say, you know what, enough is enough. We've seen it, we've experienced it over and over again. We need those changes, and Laporta, no question about it, he's got to be ruthless. I trust him, and I back him to get the job done. Let's wait and see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on what you would like to see happening in terms of exits, in terms of arrivals. I will see you soon, of course, and let's hope tomorrow against Celta we can at least try to end the season, these last two games, on a high note by winning them. I'll see you after the game, but until next time, as always, Visca El Barça!